Hi guys, this is Gail with Gail's Southern Living. I live in Central Texas, Garden Zone 8A. And I wanted to do a video kind of talking about the 2023 gardening season for me. Now it's not completely wrapped up. There's still sections of my garden that are doing really well. Other sections are kind of burning out with the Texas heat. So here is a review. This year was my second year for dill, and it did really great. I did plant it in ground in a raised bed, and it got all the way up to my shoulders. I have a picture of that somewhere. So my dill did very well. I did harvest the dill. I did dehydrate some dill, and also made some powdered ranch dressing with the dill. So then I cut down the dill. I did spread some of the seed in different areas of the garden, so it may pop up again next year. And plus it's supposed to grow where it's at too. Okay. Where it's at in this year, it will grow back next year. So, and I did leave it like the stems about this far or so, or maybe a little taller. So, and I spread the seed out right there. Okay, so zucchini. My zucchini bed did awesome. I don't know, there was like 8 or 10 different plants. I harvested tons and tons of zucchini, ate a lot of zucchini bread, made several different recipes. Excellent. It did excellent. However, in this Texas heat, parts of the plant started dying off. I have begun the process of pulling out the plants. Now, I'm pretty sure it was the Texas heat that took it out, so I'm not too worried about what's in it, but just in case, I'm putting in an area of the yard where I'm not actually planting. I'm just pulling out plants and putting in the back area of the yard. So I do still have a few working plants. However, I don't think I've got a zucchini in about a week, so I think I'm pretty much done with zucchini. And I've pretty much got my feel of the zucchini at this point. Pickling cucumber, I got lots and lots of pickling cucumber. It did really well. It is dying off. I still have, 2 or 3 on there right now, but it's growing a lot slower. The grasshoppers have attacked the leaves. I don't know why they like the pickling cucumber leaves, but they do, and they've been eating it up, and there's quite a bit of burn section there. So it's kind of wrapping up. Cayenne pepper. I did buy a cayenne pepper and a jalapeno plant from the store. It's already started. And the cayenne pepper did really good, and I harvested lots and lots of those. The grasshoppers did start eating the peppers, and I would go out there after a while. I had probably a couple of months of getting them pretty easily, and then all of a sudden I started going out there. The grasshoppers were eating about half of the pepper. So I did go ahead and take that other half of the pepper and add it into an area where I'm going to have peppers next year, hoping that it'll come back. And I did harvest some cayenne pepper seeds for next year. Jalapenos didn't grow as great as the cayenne peppers. This was also a start that I bought. I didn't grow it from seed. It did okay, and I harvested about probably a freezer bag full. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with those, so I cored them out, took out the seed and the vein part, all the insides, kept the core of it, cut them in half, put them in the freezer with a little bit of water, and I have those basically put up for dip or something else I want to make. So I'll just pull out of that when I want to make something. So I haven't done anything with the jalapenos yet. They are in the freezer. I did do a seed swap this year, and I got a few surprise seeds with the seed swap. Meaning, in my zucchini bed, I planted some seeds from a seed swap that turned out to be pumpkins. So I've actually gotten 2 full-size pumpkins this year. Crazy. So I did have them in the kitchen for a while. I was using them for videos, for props for the videos. But I got tired of lugging them around, so I finally put them on the front porch. So I'm sure my neighbors probably think I'm crazy, like, why do you have these pumpkins already on your porch in July? But whatever. That just happens to be when they were ready. So they were surprise pumpkins, 2 surprise pumpkins. I do still have quite a bit of vining things growing back in the wild garden, so I could still possibly have more pumpkins, you know. I did get some little tiny white gourds. My husband harvested about 3 of those. They're little. And I have 2 more of them growing as well. Yellow squash did okay this year. I did decide that I liked the butternut squash better than yellow squash. So I think next year I'm not going to grow the yellow squash at all. I'm going to replace the yellow squash with butternut squash. I did have a very successful butternut squash plant, and I still have 5 butternut squash still that I need to eat. They're sitting on the counter like right in front of me. You can't see it because it's that way. My lemon balm did very well. It's my first year with lemon balm. I'm actually going to go harvest that this evening. I think I'm going to dry it up and use it for possibly my soap making process that I do in the fall and winter. Tomatoes. Not the absolute best year ever with tomatoes, but I have harvested quite a bit of tomatoes. They're still out there, but the plants are kind of burning out because it's really, really hot here in Texas. I got quite a few cherry tomatoes, some San Marzano tomatoes, some beefsteak tomatoes, so Better Boy tomatoes, several different tomatoes. I have a whole pan of tomatoes in front of me as well. Tomatillas. I'm just now starting to get the little sacks on for tomatillas, so on that one's yet to be determined. I'm watering them twice a day really well right now, hoping to still get a harvest on those. Birdhouse gourds. Don't have any yet, but I do have several plants out there. Let's see how it goes. The cantaloupe / muskmelon. I did harvest one, and it was really good. It was very delicious and juicy. We ate that this past Saturday, so that'd be about the second weekend of July. I do have another one growing out there right now. I have another unidentifiable gourd, pumpkin, or watermelon out there. Several things that I'm not sure what they are. But I do know there's one more muskmelon. I had a very awesome year with sunflowers. They were very, very successful. However, they did eventually get attacked by the caterpillars. And so I ended up taking all of them out. I did harvest some seed heads. I harvested my mammoth sunflower seeds, and I do have some of those available for seed swapping and giving away, and for myself for next year. I did also spread some of the regular sunflowers out to grow up next year. Have had a lot of grasshoppers lately. They are biting holes into some of my leaves, so yet to be determined how the wild garden is going to fare with the grasshoppers. Sage. I pulled out my sage a long, long time ago. It was my second year with sage. It did put on the flower this year. I did cut it down where it wasn't all the way down. So it's probably going to come up in that same spot next year. And I'm going to make a all perennial bed next year where my lemon balm and ground cherries and dill are. I'm going to add sage to that as well, so that whole entire bed will kind of come up on its own without me having to do anything. But I will be composting that area. Watermelon. Yet to be determined if I'm going to get any watermelon. Like I say, I have some unidentified things out there, and 2 of them are green, so I don't know for sure. I think I may have my first watermelon ever. Zinnias and marigolds did absolutely wonderful. I have been harvesting seeds for those, and I have been spreading out seeds in different areas where I'm pulling out plants, hoping that I'll have some pretty flowers for this fall. Nasturtiums. This was my first year with nasturtiums. They did really well early in the season, but they did start to die when the Texas heat of July and even late June hit. Bachelor buttons. My first year with those, I had the blue ones. They did really well. I think I have pink and purple ones for next year. It's already purchased. Amaranth did really well. I had lots. I harvested about 6 of the tops of those. There's an area where I've decided I want to put those next year. And what I did was I cut it off and then cut each little limb off and kind of put it down below the peppers, because there's peppers there this year, but next year I want the amaranth to grow there. So instead of harvesting those little tiny seeds, I actually just kind of put it right there. Then after the peppers go bye-bye, I'll compost on top of it, and maybe the amaranth will come back up on its own. But if not, I have plenty of seed. Lettuce. My lettuce did really well early in the season, but of course it did bolt because of the hot Texas heat. I have considered possibly putting some in the planters, maybe for August, possibly. Cilantro. My cilantro did okay, not my very best year for cilantro. Considering planting some of that in the fall, possibly. Basil, pretty much burned out. There are some still in the tomato bed, but not probably my best year for basil. Thyme and oregano did okay in their pots, and I do still have some of those. I have 2 new beds that hubby got me at his job, and he's got the hose drilled in them so I can start my composting. And I do plan on making some composting videos. So it's kind of why I wanted to do a wrap up of the gardening season, because I wanted to start some videos for August and September of composting, just to give you guys who've never done composting an idea of what to add into your beds to fill them up. And I have 2 really huge new beds for next year. And I have decided I'm going to put my zucchini in the 2 new beds next year. So I have the whole entire zucchini bed available, and I have considered, as much as I enjoyed the muskmelon / cantaloupe, that I might put them in the what is now the zucchini bed, but will be an available bed next year. So, yes, I do plan on having an all perennial bed next year. I plan on having a planter that's all herbs. I have decided on some things I want to move around. And I'm still waiting to see if I'm going to get loofah. This is my 3rd year for loofah. So if I don't get loofah this year, I'm probably not going to try it again. But there's still a possibility. There's still flowers out there. The little things are putting on. Yet to be determined on the loofah. So the way this season wraps up, we'll decide if loofah is in my future or not in my future. But if I don't plant it again, I'll probably end up giving the loofah seeds away, because I still have probably 50, 60 seeds left. Maybe not that many, but I have a whole packet. I actually pulled them out of the main spot because I was getting really mad with the loofah. And I'm probably going to end up packaging those up and giving them away in a seed swap or something. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Be blessed. Do something kind. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my 2023 gardening season, which I consider a great success. Bye, guys.